Hi, everyone. Welcome to Cannes. Welcome to Brand Innovators. I'm Gemini, Babla. I lead brand marketing at Intuit. I'm so excited to be here today. You may have heard of a little topic called AI. We're going to be talking about that today, how AI and innovation is shaping the future of marketing. And as you all are marketers, this should be a great discussion. I'm guessing some of you might be a little hungover, tired, hot. So I'm hoping this panel, because I've got these amazing esteemed colleagues, will energize you and give you some great practical, real talk insights on AI and what they're doing in their organizations to really drive the future of marketing as we move towards this new crazy world. So just really quickly, if you all will just introduce yourselves and tell everyone what your role is, how long you've been there, and why you're so inspired by AI and what your company's doing for AI and marketing.
Okay, thank you. So my name is Randy Browning. I'm the founder and president of Horizon Commerce. I live in LA. We are technology and data first, so very big on AI. And then we run commerce services on top of that. So think of like retail media, digital transformation, et cetera. This is my second AI company that I've started. The first one I sold to Deloitte, and I'm now on that hamster wheel again to get this one up and running.
Hi, Steve Phillips. I'm the founder and now Chief Innovation Officer at Zappi. We're a consumer insight platform. We were built from the beginning AI first, and that was 10 years ago. So old-fashioned AI. Obviously, we're now much more modern. About 6 months ago, I gave up the CEO role to become Chief Innovation Officer, and part of that was because it was just much more exciting. There's so much going on now. The innovation, I think, particularly with AI and being able to do the things that we're now capable of doing, it's just a very exciting time to be innovating.
Hello, everyone. I'm Pratik, Thakar, global lead of global vice president of Generative AI for the company. My background is marketing and creative. So my role was, I was global head of creative for brand Coke. And then we started using Gen AI pre-GPT launch, pre-hype cycle. We had partnership with OpenAI and Stability AI, and in 22 onwards, and then we have taken multiple initiatives, scaled AI across the company, across the functions, and that's where, from last 2 years, I'm leading that. Thank you.
Hi, my name is Michael Rubenstein. I'm the co-founder of a company called Firsthand. We're a relatively young, 2-year-old AI company in the digital advertising and marketing space. I've been a builder in the ad tech, martech sector for my entire career, companies like DoubleClick and Nexus. The thing that is most inspiring and interesting to me about AI is the potential for changing the way brands and consumers communicate with one another and build relationships with one another. And that's what we're really focused on at Firsthand.
I love it. What a great panel of folks. Thank you for those intros. Let's jump into some of these big questions I think that a lot of marketers here have today. And I want this to be real talk. No fluffy stuff. Everyone here has heard about what AI is doing for their marketing, how, productivity is one of the key outputs. But beyond just making things faster and more efficient, tell us about some specific AI applications that you've used that you believe have genuinely moved the needle in your organizations. Talk about those outcomes. And besides efficiency, what did those moves in the needle look like?
You want me to start?
Yeah, anyone, jump in.
I'm totally biased. I'm going to talk about our AI platform, which we call Neon, but it is not about making things more efficient. I agree with you. I had a marketer come to me early on in the start of the company, and he said that he was planning a campaign on Walmart and optimizing against a ROAS of $3.50. And then he did an MMM, maybe 3 months later, post-campaign performance, came back at negative $3.50 ROI.
Wow.
Literally the inverse. That is what we have attempted to solve. So 3 things. 1, we're moving measurement away from ROAS and ROI, which I think are somewhat fluffy, to incremental revenue. So what is the revenue that is driven by paid media, not organic impact? Second of all, we're applying that across all platforms. We apply it across all tactics within each of those platforms and all channels. So now we can predict in real time what your incremental revenue will be by keyword, changing a bid on a keyword for next 30 days, how much more money you will make by doing that, right? So it changes the game, in my opinion, of how we can now plan and optimize based on predictive models. Our accuracy is at 97.5% when you compare it to where the MMM is going to come 3 months later, and it's driving incremental revenue. We've built, this is a 6-month-old product. Wow. We've driven about $350 million through the platform, and it's delivering about an 18+% return on, or excuse me, increase in revenue. So that to me is a true application in our world of media, of AI.
Great.
So I'd say from our side, every brand that you come across talks about themselves as being consumer-centric, right? So everyone wants to be close to the consumer, do what the consumers are doing, be where they are. But then you have announcements like you had from Meta last week, which is they're going to create advertising campaigns based entirely on success metrics, which are things like click-through rates, right? And viewability. That's not where consumers are. Now, you may attract their attention, but you're not going to build a long-term brand with that type of data. So you need consumer insight data being pushed into the system, enabled to build advertising campaigns, communications that genuinely create emotion. And it's an emotion that really builds long-term brand success and not short-term sales. So for me, the application of AI is really enabling companies to become genuinely consumer-centric, to have consumers and their feelings, their beliefs, their desires integrated into their communication system. So that's what's exciting for me.
I love that. Great.
At Coca-Cola, I can talk about what we did around 6 months ago in Christmas. We actually took Santa Claus, which we created the way we see Santa, red color, happy, chubby man. So that persona we created in 1931, and we took that, created digital 3D, digital twin, 3D twin of Santa. We programmed and kind of trained him with the Santa's persona and moderated its conversation. And then people can actually talk to him in 26 different languages across the world.
Amazing.
Now, that's scale. Yeah. That's kind of and Coca-Cola Christmas is very big for us. And that experience was very new during November and December, while you can have a unique conversation. Each conversation is unique, and it's a real-time conversation, right? You can ask anything, except all those religious and political stuff. So that's where, and then once you talk to him, and based on that conversation, he creates a snow globe for you and gives it to you, which you can actually share on your social media. And that snow globe is designed based on your conversation. So it's a unique one and customized. So that was created we took around 4 months to create that. And deployed it for 2 months, November and December, across the world.
So from concept or ideation to deployment altogether?
6 months.
6 months. Wow.
So we use OpenAI GPT-4o. We had Mimic production creating the digital twin. And then we had Leonardo AI, now it's acquired by Canva, creating the snow globe. And we use Microsoft's text-to-voice model to make Santa converse. So So that's what kind of, it's a speed to market, innovation, mass application at scaled environment. And people give first party data because people log in. Then they talk to Santa. Average time of speaking to Santa was around 8 minutes to 20 seconds, which is deep engagement. And then once they have snow globe, they share it on this. And we were putting those snow globes on our Piccadilly Circus in London or Times Square in New York. So that's a kind of a end-to-end conversation and engagement. So yeah, that's a good example.
So fun, especially in 26 languages. Very cool. Michael.
That is really cool. And I think there are some similar themes that we've been building on at Firsthand as well. So, as I think you framed it really well, like efficiency and, sure, AI can do that. But is that really revolutionary? I think for us, what we are viewing as the revolutionary unlock, the thing that was never possible before AI, but only is possible today because of AI, is what we think of as brand agents. That's what we're building at Firsthand. And we called the company Firsthand because we believe your brand should have a firsthand engagement and relationship with consumers wherever they are. And so what we're able to do now with these brand agents is arm these agents with your knowledge, your IP as a brand, and send them out to consumers. So you're not putting an ad at a consumer or putting something in front of a consumer. You are creating an invitation to engage. And it is amazing what consumers will tell you if you give them an invitation to engage. And what the AI can do, again, armed with a brand's IP, is evolve and adapt on the fly and take a consumer through a journey in a way that advertising never really could before. And I think that's revolutionary. And I think what's really cool as well, to tie it back to your point too, is insights as well. The insights that come off of that are basically like a real survey that you're running across the internet through paid media anywhere consumers are. So we're really excited about this and seeing, not only just excited about it, but seeing the results from consumers engaging at very, very high rates that are unheard of otherwise in paid media.
I love that concept of brand agents. I think Google may have done that because they named their brand agent Gemini. Like, wait a second. No. My mom is very proud. I actually led research marketing at Google before joining Intuit. So I know a little bit about the ins and outs, and that's my passion about the AI space. You
did invent it, right? It was named after you.
Yeah.
Can I just jump in for a second? Because one thought, and again, this was your brainchild, so I can't, but we think of consumer agents as being distinct from brand agents.
Okay.
So to us, the consumer agent is like a ChatGPT or Gemini. You're trying to satisfy a question or some query on behalf of a consumer. Yeah. A brand agent is something that's acting on a brand's behalf with the consumer.
Great.
So it's owned by Intuit or owned by something of that nature. Right. And we think that ultimately, in this next evolution of the internet that no one understands or can predict or what have you, and it's all very messy right now. Yeah. But we believe that brands will have agents and consumers will have agents. And sometimes the brand agent will intersect with the consumer, and sometimes the consumer agent will intersect with the brand, and sometimes the agent will intersect with the agent.
Yes.
And it's going to be really interesting.
I want to add to that. So we also have an agentic interface. And the thing about the agents we're trying to build is for companies. So we think everyone in any large organization like Coca-Cola should have an agent there that can instantly supply consumer insight. That can, any decision you want to make, you can have data, you can have an interaction with an agent that says, this is what consumers would think of your idea. It is not that you have to listen to the consumer. Well, you should listen. You don't have to do exactly what they want. But absolutely, you should have that insight at the touch of a button so that you can make smart decisions.
Absolutely. So what we are doing, and we are piloting agents and kind of with synthetic data and consumer data. So you can put the stimuli out in front of it and immediately tells you what would be the potential reaction from the consumer. So that's one. The other thing, around 2 years ago, we were the first pilot for OpenAI to create GPT, Coca-Cola GPT. So basically, we have put all our knowledge, it's knowledge management tool, basically, all our information. So if I want to know which pack size of Sprite selling highest in Vietnam, so immediately it tells me that, okay, this is the glass bottle or aluminum can or PET bottle, this is the size, this is the combination of pack size. And I said, okay, then what about Fanta or Schweppes? And immediately it gives me all the data, and it gives me the links with the documents which we have in our system. So that is GPT, and that's connected with the consumer data. So the audience data, the consumer brain, and the brand brain, where brand attributes and brand, all the elements are there, visual as well as the strategic assets. So all those things connecting kind of creates a good ecosystem.
Yeah, and just to build on that, I heard a great quote the other day, which is when great AI meets bad data wins. And the thing you have to do is manage that data asset. It's all about the quality, more about quality than quantity. Make sure it's integrated in the right way, make sure it's available in the right way, but make sure the quality is great. That is the underpinning of everything.
Absolutely.
I love that. The other question I want to talk about or think about, we heard a lot of folks talking about authenticity and relatability. As agentic AI content is flooding all our social feeds and marketing channels, what's your secret to making sure that your brand's voice remains unmistakably human, authentic, even when the algorithms are doing all the heavy lifting, right? Pratik, you and I talked a little bit about this from the Coca-Cola side, and then I want to hear from Randy.
Sure. So last Christmas, actually, apart from our Create Real Magic, where you talk to Santa, that campaign, we had another film called Holidays Are Coming, which is actually, we created around 30 years ago, very iconic. And then we actually took that and created 100% with AI, and we released that across the world. It created a lot of controversy also. But one side, it was super successful with the consumers across multiple research agencies doing their own independent research and kind of validating that. And the other side, creators and the community, creative community or production houses, they were concerned about it, that, hey, how can Coca-Cola create their Christmas film with AI? But that's what we are doing. We make sure that we stay true to our heritage. We stay true to our brand voice. And that's why we took something from our archive 30 years ago and created it. Actually, the man who created is behind there, PJ. So we have to be careful how we produce it, how we keep the nuances of the brand, and then take a risk. Not everyone will like it, and that's fine. We need to keep pushing, and you will see this year as well, pushing the envelope and kind of taking the risk. But that's where we need to keep going. But again, marketer needs to make sure that we stay true on our brands. True. And we understand consumer, and then take risk and use technology rather than the other way around. So it's like still our marketing brains are more important and technology is the tool. Yeah.
+1 to taking risks. Like if all the marketers in this room aren't taking big risks, especially now with AI, what are you all doing? Randy.
Yeah, I've got a tip here for if there are any agency people here. The old days, remember, we would build brand books for our clients. There's an opportunity here for you to build large language model groups for your clients, right? Because these generative AI processes are based on the data, exactly to your point, that is input. So if you want the right brand representation, you should be building these large language models that determine what the engine is gonna create, right? That's a very valuable asset for agencies to move into over the next 12 months' time, in my opinion.
I love that. Love it. Great. I read this quote this morning. Andy Jassy from Amazon said today, we will need fewer people doing some jobs that are being done today and more people doing other types of jobs. What does that mean for your marketing organization? So fast forward to 2028. What capabilities are you building into your marketing teams, into your own capabilities? And what are some of the superpowers that you think your marketing organizations are going to need to really have in the next few years?
I can start. So 2 or 3 points. One, definitely we want to make sure that everyone is ready, prepared, kind of trained, rather than them being scared of AI, right? So as a company, we wanted to set a tone that we are ready to take a risk and we want to stay ahead of the curve. So that we did 2 years ago. We set up this, I moved into this role, and we had a couple of other team members. We built that. I think we were the first company in CPG world creating Gen AI roles. So that's one. Then we were very clear that we are not creating a silo department, AI department.
That's right.
That doesn't help. Like we never had department of TV or department of internet, right? It's like it doesn't work. So what we are doing, we are actually taking people from different geography and different functions. And actually people are raising hand. I want to be in a part of this kind of initiatives. So they're giving their 50% of time on Gen AI related project and 50% of time what they are doing their core role. So as a design with their managers approval, HR aligned, we have created these strategic experiences, short-term experience and strategic experiences where people from brand marketing, R&D, supply chain, they spend 50% of time on Gen AI projects. That way we inculcate the culture. When they get trained on job, they're not doing like some course. They are really working on the tools and they are working with the tech companies. So they're actually building knowledge how to apply rather than the academic. Because by the time you do the academics, the things have changed, right? Every week. So yeah, that's where we are building culture, capability, and bringing in that knowledge. Yeah.
I can talk about a little bit about the insight industry. I'm a big Amazon shareholder letter fan. I don't know if you read those. And one of the letters was about every meeting room in Amazon having a blank chair, which was supposed to represent the consumer. And so every time you're in a meeting thinking about where to put the warehouse, what the office should be, you have a look at this chair and think, oh, I wonder what the consumer would be. My ambition for Consumer Insights and our company is to become that chair, right? So for me, Consumer Insights has always been there when you're doing a TV ad test. But when you're creating a little bit of content, you're probably not doing a test. But through synthetics and through other ways, we can supply insight in every situation that a brand has. So does AI make things much more efficient? So take away some of the tasks? Absolutely. But it massively amplifies the potential role of insight. So I think from an insight perspective, there's a huge opportunity to be a much larger part of the clients that we serve. And I think that's really exciting.
I could give an example from a generative perspective, right? So as part of Horizon Media, I see the broader media work that is done. And we use a ID spine and we create audiences from it. And that process typically has taken us 5 to 6 days to create those audiences, right? So a strategist will go in and say, here's what I'm looking for. A data scientist will work with the platform, comes back to the strategist and says, here you go. And they would do it. You put Gen AI on top of that, and that data scientist is no longer needed, right? Now, as a strategist, I can go in and I can use casual language to be able to say, I'm looking for EV owners in the Northeast that have these attributes, and it spits it out within a matter of a minute or two, right? So you are decreasing the amount of time it takes to get to insights to do your work. And my takeaway from that is creativity and ideas are going to continue in our industry. That's what it's about. It's just we're going to be able to focus more and more on that. Some of the tedious work does go away for sure.
Totally agree. Totally agree. As a follow-up, I'm just thinking about what you said, Randy. Hyper-personalization, so powerful, right? But there's kind of a fine line between hyper-personalization and really understanding before it gets sort of creepy and intrusive, how AI is really getting to that space. Share an example of how your brand is using AI to really deliver some of those bespoke experiences without hitting that creepiness or ick factor.
I can go.
Yeah.
So there are two examples. Around 13, 14 years ago, we launched Share a Coke, where we put people's name on the pack. And that time I was Creative Excellence Director for Asia Pacific. And we launched it in Sydney first, in Australia first. And what we did, actually, we took telephone directory. Do you remember?
Yellow Pages?
Yeah. So we took actually telephone directory and took 500 most popular names. Because telephone directory tell you, right? Like
which market? It depends on which market.
For Australia.
Okay, Australia.
So like David and Sandy and Mark and like common names, right?
Sheila,
Most
surely.
common.
Sheila, surely.
Yeah. So common names. And we put it on pack. And it was that time huge, very brave move because we took out our logo and put people's name on our packs. Now it's back. If you see here, actually, it's back on the, but now we can actually put everyone's name.
Yeah,
So
I'm
we
waiting
don't-
for the Gemini branded Coke bottles. Like, you never find those. I've always struggled with the little
And you can
keychains.
customize it on the spot.
Yeah.
Actually, that was happening here yesterday at Carton. So basically, one can go customize on the spot names. And that's where we are working with Adobe, we are working on AI, and that ecosystem has completely changed the game. Instead of 500 names, now we can have 50 million names. And that's the scale, and that's the change. So that's one example. Another one, I was talking about the AI film, which we created, Holidays Are Coming for Christmas. For North America, we actually had each geography-led content. So you see the truck, our caravan going on in the highways, and all the signages like Los Angeles welcome or those kind of signages.
Yeah.
You see, actually, if you are in Los Angeles, you will see signage of Los Angeles and the scenario of Los Angeles. If you are in Chicago, you will see the snowy roads and welcome to Chicago. So we had 13 different locations where you have a content created for that geography and programmatically distributed. So it's basically the AI creates the content, but also distributed in a AI powered way.
So I think hyper-personalization is now possible, but you've also got to be careful. Just because you can doesn't mean you should.
Yeah.
And sometimes what I think the geographic one is really interesting. Consumers don't just want something targeted at them as an individual. Sometimes it's them as a community.
Yeah. Right.
And it's content they can share. It might be personalized content to them. I'm a big cricket fan.
Yeah.
So advertise cricket to me, but something I can share with my teammates.
Right.
You know, so it's not just about the individual. It can be about an interest, an area of, something I can share, something I can really relate to.
I've got a different angle on this, and it's something that's in development. We haven't finalized it. It should be done July 5th, which is personalization around the products that you put in front of people. So we, as a marketing group, we've promoted the brand, or we've promoted hero products. And what we can do with AI now is we can promote the hundreds or thousands of SKUs that every brand has to each person. So the message maybe not as creepy, but the value is in that one-to-one relationship between the product and the person who is searching or whatever they might be doing. So I think that's a really interesting area to think about. I call it predictive conversion scores. So you put those conversion scores on your product pages, and when you're in an auction, we can decide whether we send you to one product or another based on competitive or pricing or promotions or whatever it might be. So I think that's a pretty cool area to think about for personalization.
I think as it relates to the world of advertising technology, which is the world I'm coming from, I'm actually hopeful and optimistic that AI can lead to a better and healthier form of personalization than actually what we've seen to date. I think to date, a lot of what we've seen are tactics like retargeting, which is a form of personalization. It's really tracking that I do think crosses the creepiness line and makes consumers feel like, you know, this brand is kind of stalking me. I think the cool thing to me about AI, and again, why we're building brand agents in firsthand, is the machines now have the ability to understand what it is that you want and to respond to you in real time. And I feel like the good part of the internet over the last several decades is the part where we're helping consumers get to what they want. And so to me, I feel like a good personalization is a personalization where I'm a consumer, I'm initiating contact with a brand, and then the brand is giving me what I'm looking for, as opposed to following me around and trying to anticipate what I'm looking for because I was looking at a set of golf clubs last week, and for some reason, I might still want them even though I bought them. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. No, I love that. I love that. One last question. We all know that most modern brands are using AI or experimenting with AI in some fashion. As powerful AI capabilities are becoming more commoditized and accessible to everyone, how do you redefine your competitive advantage in marketing? You know, what truly differentiates a brand now when AI-powered baseline is available to everybody? What's the new differentiator? Last question.
I'm bound to say it, consumer insight, right? It has to be, and I think big brands, a lot of technology advances help small companies. But actually, this one helps large companies because of the data asset. And if you can get the right data in the right place to make the right decision, and it's based around consumers' emotions and beliefs, you will make smarter decisions.
Sure.
So completely agree. Consumer insight, there is no kind of alternative to that. The other thing is reaching out to tech companies and having alpha and beta model access to them. That's a very big thing for us. From last 2 years, what we are doing is we are getting access to some of the tools which are not yet out. We work with them. So when tools comes out, our product, our campaigns, our messages are out. And that way, actually, it helps both ways. It's win-win because when Coca-Cola does something or Fanta does something, it brings the power of technology and catches the imagination of everyone. Everyone gets it that, oh, that's how it happens. And same time, we stay ahead of the curve and we always have that advantage of speed to market and innovation in the market.
Yeah.
Can I just build on that, which is 100% agreed. I don't know if anyone else has experienced this, but I've had many conversations at Cannes this year, and it's all about co-creation. Privately behind the doors. That's what brands want to do. That's what platforms want to do. That's what the agencies want to do. So I think we're coming together around co-creation of custom solutions. And I think the brands that drive that, are leaders in that, are going to be the ones that are successful.
I love that.
Yeah.
I love that. Michael.
I mean, yeah, I love that as well. I think that's incredibly powerful and also something that's enabled by AI uniquely. We're doing some really cool things right now with media companies and brands collaborating through our platform to surface new AI-powered experiences to consumers, all while the data is protected and segmented in almost a clean room type fashion. And it's just mind-blowing, the things that can be done now via collaboration that would have been impossible before. So I love that idea.
I love that. Yeah, terrific. What a great conversation. I just want to say thank you, Randy, Steve, Pratik, and Michael. And everyone, enjoy the rest of your day. Thanks.
Thank you.